Hi, my name is Paula Colpitts, and this is the Reading Catholic Community Daily Message. Today's gospel is a great gospel when it comes to sharing some thoughts and lessons when it comes to evangelization. I hope these points help us as we evangelize our friends, our neighbors, and our family. I'd like to start by reading the gospel quickly. It's from the Gospel of Mark. The Pharisees came and began to argue with Jesus, asking him for a sign from heaven to test him. And he sighed deeply in his spirit and said, "Why does this generation ask for a sign? Truly, I tell you, no sign will be given to this generation." And he left them, and getting into the boat, he went across to the other side. The Gospel of the Lord. So here's 4 takeaways. Number 1, in any kind of Christian work, there will always be people we can't please. In an article I read, there are several kinds of people, but here are a few. There are the VRP, the VIPs, and the VDPs. The VRPs and the VIPs, the very resourceful people and the very important people, well, they're great to have around, aren't they? But the VDPs, where there seems to be more of than any kind of people, well, they are the very draining people. They're never happy, never satisfied, never appreciative. They reach the lost. To reach the lost, you could swim through shark-infested waters, trudge for days through desert and quicksand, wrestle with wild animals, risk death from hostile tribes, all to bring the gospel to people in far-off lands. And the VDPs will say, "Why didn't you go last year?" There's something there. We all know a VDP, and that sometimes maybe we're one. Lesson 2. The danger of trying to present the gospel on terms others like. Negotiating the gospel. Jesus would not do that. These Pharisees had set their own terms for following him, and he would not meet their terms or their demands. Take him as he was, accept the evidence already given there. After all, he had just fed 4,000 with just a few loaves of bread and a few fish. They were loved, they were wanted. This was something they needed to do. But there would be no discount on discipleship to suit their preferences. When it comes to Christianity, there can only be one master. That is Jesus. And no one can manipulate him or fit their preferences. Lesson number 3. Some people will never be won by argument. Jesus did not engage in debate with these people. They were not honest inquirers. They were people who had come to trap him. He didn't ask them what they meant by a sign from heaven, or whether or not, if they got a sign, they demand another sign, and then another and another. Questions like those would have all been good debating points. But if they were ever to be won, it would not be by debate. And lesson number 4. Ultimately, we have to be willing to let some people go. Jesus cared. He cared a lot, and he cares for each one of us. It's very serious that people would not listen to him, but he would not run after them. They made their choice, and Jesus would neither be forced or plead with what they would have made for their decision. The lessons from Jesus' encounter with the Pharisees is this. There are people that we will never please, people who will not let go of their needs, people who will always make more demands, some very draining people who will always have another issue or another reason why they cannot do the right thing. Jesus faced them, and we will too. And we need to deal with them lovingly, but firmly, even if sometimes it will mean they will walk away from us. What kind of person are we? Have a great day. God bless. Thank you for listening.